Alrighty guys, if you're watching this video, it's probably because you're interested in how I helped my client Hani lose 16 kilos of fat in just 6 months whilst he continued to eat out prata, nasi biryani, Singaporean food, and he was still working 12-hour shifts as a paramedic, but he was only able to do this using my FARN method. Alright? And now you might be wondering, well, where's he at in this present day? Well, a quote by Hani himself, his friends are so shocked when they see him now because they're so surprised by the new version of him that they see, right? He's changed so much phenomenally from his old physique to his new one, right? Night and day. As you can see over here, he used to be around 74 kilos on the 15th of April, and by the 24th of September last year, he got all the way down to 57.6, a very consistent linear drop in weight, all right? Just 6 months. Now some pictures of him, he's traveling the world, he's looking a lot leaner, he's fitting his clothes better, he's confident in his stride, super ultra lean, and the best part is, as you can see, he still eats out with his family, right? Side dishes shared with his sister, whatever, but he's still eating out, all right? So he's not eating the chicken breast, broccoli, and rice like you guys think he is to get this lean, okay? But before Hani got to this point, what was he doing? What kind of methods was he trying, and why wasn't he able to get his result? Well, Hani in the past used to believe that he needed to meal prep every single day. Okay? Just like you guys, he thought that there was no way he was going to get lean, get the abs, if he didn't meal prep. Okay? He also thought that he was never able to eat out if he was on a cut. Right? If you're on a cut, you got to make sure all your food's made at home. It's got to be meal prep, right? I can't eat the same foods I used to. A lot of you guys believe that too. For Hani specifically, he was working morning, afternoon, and night shifts as a paramedic. And so to him, working these sort of long hours was arduous. It would make getting in shape literally impossible. How many of you guys work overtime? How many of you guys work 10 to 12 hours a day? I'm sure you guys can relate, right? And he felt that in order to get his dream physique, he needed to put in 5 to 6 sessions a week, right? The bro splits, the push-pull leg splits. That's literally what he was doing, push-pull legs. 2 hours a session in order to get the results. But none of these beliefs that he had could be further from the truth, right? What most people believe is actually just a figment of their imagination. What is actually the truth is that we got him to eat homemade meals that took 5 minutes to make. Super easy, super fast. You could make it anywhere, all right? He used our special 3-hour method when eating out. I'll tell you more about the 3-hour method later on, but it works phenomenally no matter where you're at. He could eat out 3 times a week, and he finally hit 57 kilograms. He didn't need to always, eat at home. Okay? In terms of working long hours, well, I always tell my clients, fitness fits your lifestyle, not the other way around. You should never have to change your plans, not hang out with your loved ones, completely sacrifice your entire social life or anything you're interested in just to look good and just to be fit. No, keep the same way you're doing things in your life, but ensure that you can intertwine and inject fitness into your lifestyle. And that's the way you achieve balance, okay? And the best part, all right, instead of the 5-6 sessions a week, push-pull legs, he only did 45-minute sessions 4 times a week, guys. Come on. How easy is that? That's like fewer than 4 hours in a single week just dedicated to working out. How many of you guys have that much time on your hands? If you check your screen time on your phone right now, you probably spend, 8-9 hours on your phone every single day. Okay, so you have the time. Doesn't matter how busy you are. All right? But you might be wondering, how is that possible? Right? Doesn't that seem a bit far-fetched? Well, let me show you how. Using my FARN method, he was able to do this. Now, what does the FARN method stand for? Fitness, accountability, recovery, and nutrition. These 4 pillars are key for you to get towards your end result and keep it there for the long term. How many times do we see people go through 3-month sprints, 6-month sprints, right? 12-week, 24-week challenges, but they don't keep it. They rebound, they yo-yo diet. And maybe you might have experienced that as well. What's the point of being able to get the abs, look jacked, if you don't have the freedom you desire to spend time with your loved ones, to enjoy food with your loved ones, to live the life you want to live? If you sacrifice all of that freedom with the limited amount of time that you already have, what's the point? It's not sustainable. Okay? So the FARN method is more so about sustainability than anything else. How can you keep your gains forever more? Let's start with the first pillar, fitness. All right. What did we do to help him achieve sustainability? Number one, minimal number of sets. There's no need to do 3, 4 sets, 5, 6 sets in a single session for a muscle group. As you can see, we did supersets of 2 sets each for every muscle group, whether that's the chest, the back, whether that's the bicep, the triceps, or the shoulders. Okay. This only took him 45 minutes to complete, and because we used supersets, he was in and out of the gym in no time. Short, sharp, efficient, fast, right? We're all about proficiency. If your workout doesn't take long for you to finish, guess what? It's not a huge task for you to overcome. It doesn't feel like an obstacle. It feels effortless, right? So we started off with very minimal sets. Number two, we increase his intensity week to week. All right, if you don't know what RPE is, it's basically a way for you to quantify how hard you're working in the gym. As you can see, the numbers ramped up on a week-to-week basis. And the purpose of this is so that when matched together with very few sets, you can get the effect of muscle growth, right? Far too many people, they go to the gym and they're aimless, no intention. Just, okay, I saw 4 sets, 12 reps on TikTok and Instagram, therefore I'm gonna do that. How many of you guys do that and still don't see results? It's because you don't know how to increase your intensity. You don't even know what your max intensity looks like, what's your max effort, and that's the problem. But we taught Hani this very early on so that he clearly understood what it meant to be a few reps shy of failure, what it meant to be 1 rep shy of failure, and what it really meant to hit failure. And that's how he managed to get his great gains, even though he didn't spend too much time in the gym. Okay? Obviously, there would be no point in going to the gym if your form sucks, right, and you get injured, and every rep you do is not actually taking you closer towards your goal. But for Hani, we perfected his technique as he went along. Okay, when I first met this guy, man, his technique sucked. He didn't know what he was doing in the gym, even though he'd been working out for quite a few years by then, right? So all he had to do was just send a few short videos, all right? And we'll give him the feedback. We help him to perfect his technique so that every single rep that he did was actually working in his favor. It was efficacious. There was a point. It wasn't just junk reps, right? And now, for the final bit of the fitness pillar, I want to ask you guys a question. Can you do your job without data? Can you do your job without spreadsheets, without having any sorts of data at all? And if the answer is a resounding no, guess what? I can't either, right? Which is why we need to track your data. As you can see in the app, we have all of its insights, right? How compliant was he? What was his schedule like during that period? What was his weight? How many meals did he have? What was his body weight during that period? What was his steps like? And I could also show you how much he got stronger over the course of about 6 weeks, from the 3rd of June to the 16th of July. You can see that his lat pull downs went all the way from 25 kilos to 32 kilos, right? That's a testament towards the minimum number of sets and increased intensity. It shows you how you can get stronger without having to do much at all. All right? We only know this because the data was being tracked. Even if you had a PT in the past, or maybe you have a PT now, or maybe you don't, but you don't know what's going on in the gym because you're always guessing. If you guess, then you get random results. If you do things randomly, you get random results. If you want very specific, very good results, you need to have specific data. You need to know exactly what's going on, right? And so that's pretty much it for the fitness pillar. But that's not all. Most online coaches, most PTs, most fitness gurus, they preach 2 things. Train hard, eat clean. Everyone knows this. ChatGPT knows this, Claude knows this, you know this. But that's not the main thing that gets you to your result and helps you keep it there. So the other 2 pillars that we really focus on is accountability and recovery. And we're going to go to that in just a second, right? Accountability. There's absolutely no point in you executing the perfect workout if you don't stay consistent. At the end of the day, it does not matter who writes your program. It could be Arnold Schwarzenegger, it could be Chris Bumstead, it could be your mom. It doesn't matter, right? If you don't stay consistent, you're not going to get the results you desire. Consistency is the key to the castle here. And so learning how to take self-accountability, being held accountable, is one of the most impactful things. I would argue the most impactful thing when it comes to any solution you're looking for in a fitness program. If you're not going to be consistent, it does not matter how perfect the program is. If you don't do it, you're not going to get the results. So I have spent so many years and so much effort building out the best accountability systems. Me having been a national powerlifter in the past, right? Having to hit specific goals for my deadlift, my squat, my bench. That didn't come out of me just, randomly working out in the gym. No, I was held accountable by my own coaches, by my nutritionist, by my physiotherapist, my sports psychologist. And I took these same systems that I invested tens of thousands of dollars in and put it to my coaching program. Here's what it looks like. Number one, weekly check-ins. If you don't actually reassess your week and see how things have gone, you are actually just shooting in the dark. Right? If you don't actually look back at how the past 7 days have gone, you're blind. Right? That's why we have these automated texts that come in that ask him about, how his week went. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hungry was he? Did he binge eat? Right? How was his sleep like? How many times did he train? Blah, blah, blah. Just by answering this weekly text review, every client, especially Hani, is held accountable for their actions. They are made very cognizant of their actions, of their choices. If you have to answer this, you would know what you did well, what you slacked on. And that itself brings all the thoughts from your subconscious to your conscious, and it makes you a lot more aware of the things you have to work on. It makes me aware of the things you've been slacking on, right? But that's not all. Daily text. Every single day, Hani will have questions about his technique, about his nutrition. All of it was answered, as you can see, right? We knew exactly how much his caloric intake, this was when he was in the bulk, how much he had to increase, right? We knew what his weight was at. We knew how much his waist size decreased. We knew all of these details because they were daily communication. At the end of the day, communication is key. If you do not communicate with your coach, you are absolutely getting nowhere because none of your coaches or anyone's going to help you is going to be clairvoyant. So the daily text comes in very helpful, right? Communication. Okay, we've also got form feedback. Again, it's not good enough to just go to the gym, get a cookie cutter program, and then, just start working out. Because what's the point? What if you get injured? What if your form sucks? Then you're just wasting time in the gym. That's why we gave him personalized Loom reviews. Right? Breaking down every single bit of his form. What he did well, what he didn't do well, drawing arrows showing how he could improve. That's how he was able to take online coaching, even though you guys might be a bit skeptical. Online coaching absolutely works and it is better than in-person coaching, right? Because you're able to see yourself in retrospect, right? Once you film the video, you get the feedback, you can watch it again. It's like your own personalized tutorial video, right? You will learn so much better than doing in person. It will forever stay in your mind, okay? Last but not least, my specialty, mindset mastery. This is a special text that, a specific text that Hani sent to us, right? This is the team. He was really thankful for the guidance that we provided to him throughout Ramadan because he's Muslim, right? Never in a million years I could work out consistently during Ramadan. Though I have to go through some challenges such as not being able to push myself, blah, blah, blah. I'm overall very proud of myself in pushing through this Ramadan training block. Thank you for the weekly TED Talk, constantly giving me the motivation. Thank you to the rest of the teammates as well, right? You don't get these kind of texts by not changing someone's beliefs, changing someone's mindset, and supporting them throughout this journey. A lot of you guys struggle with a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of doubt, a lot of pessimistic beliefs that you're not disciplined enough, you can't do it. But that's exactly why I'm here, to provide you with all of these mindset shifts. Because once you can change your mindset, you become more self-accountable. And once you can become self-accountable, you can finally gain the independence and start treating yourself like a fit person. Okay? Up next, this is a very big thing. Okay? More important than a lot of other things that coaches talk about. It's your goddamn recovery. If you don't sleep enough, if your stress levels are shooting through the roof, how are you supposed to lose fat and build muscle efficiently? Your quality of sleep, your quantity of sleep directly impacts how long you're going to live and how healthy you're going to be. So forget the physique goals. You're not even going to be healthy if your recovery is ass. And most of your recovery is as, for most of you guys watching, because you're a corporate worker, you work super late, you take overtime, and you sleep 5-6 hours a night, and that's been going on for what, donkey years now? Of course you're not going to get your great physique. Of course you don't feel driven to go to the gym. Of course your results are as slow as a snail's pace. If you want to maximize results, you have to look at recovery. If you just pluck the lowest hanging fruit, I would say recovery is probably one of the most important things. Especially for someone like Hani, who's doing shift work, 12-hour shifts. He needs to recover, he needs to sleep. He's literally doing physical labor, carrying people around, on demand, on call, right? So one of the things he complained to me about a lot of times is that he's so tired, even after gym, he's so tired, no matter how much he sleeps, so tired. And I say, okay, the first thing we need to do, again, track data. Let's use an app to track your sleep. And we found out that his sleep debt is basically kind of like financial debt, right? If you keep missing out on sleep every single day, the debt increases. You gotta pay it back. Sleep debt was astonishingly high. I believe it was like more than 20 hours. Okay, and I said we gotta get it down below 10 minimally. So I've got him a whole sleep routine, right? How to wind down properly, how to quieten his mind, how to get peaceful sleep, how to get longer sleep in between his shifts, how to get sleep regardless of what time his shift was. And in doing so, as you can see, he said despite having 3 night shifts back to back, he managed to stay within the okay range. If it was the last year, he would have hit the highs of like 13, 15 hours of sleep debt, right? So this clearly shows you that him being able to improve his sleep has resulted in him being more consistent, more driven, which has resulted in a better outcome, right? Last but not least, the part that you guys are probably waiting for, nutrition, the biggest thing everyone cares about. How is he eating? How is he eating out? How is that possible? How is he not eating chicken breast, broccoli, and rice and still getting lean? Well, let me break it down for you, all right? Step 1, the 5-minute meal prep. When he was eating at home, this was the standard meal he ate. Vegetables, rice, and fish. You might think this might take a while to cook, but no. Everything we got him to make was already pre-made or frozen. All he had to do was kind of just heat it up. Once he heated it up, it took him literally 5 minutes. He didn't even need to meal prep for the week. Just make it in the morning, done. Right? A lot of you guys probably spend a lot of time in the morning doom scrolling, doing other things. But if you could just dedicate 5 minutes and make your meal, you would have secured a consistent anchor in your day that you know is healthy, helps you hit your protein intake. And once you do that consistently, you can start opening the doors for other outside meals. Right? It's not like Hani never ate meals at home and always ate out. No, but he had a very perfect balance. You guys probably heard this rule touted all the time, 80-20. 80% of the time you eat at home, 20% of the time you eat out. But that meant that every time he ate out, he could eat whatever he wanted. Right? Chobani Fit, that was one of the other things he had, a yogurt. How did he know how to eat out and still lose fat? Because he used my 3R method. 3R stands for reduce, replace, request. I created this strategy some time ago because of my own weight loss journey. I didn't want to keep feeling restricted every time I ate out, and I was just wondering, how can I reduce the calories but still eat the same foods? Well, if we can reduce a source of the calories, whether it's the oil, whether it's sauces, whether it's the fatty carbohydrates or the fatty protein, well, obviously that reduces calories. What about replacing? Well, if we can replace fatty proteins with lean proteins, well, that's great. I can hit my protein intake, I can still have the meal. Yeah, it might not taste as good, but I'm still having it. And request, because I don't want to feel like I'm in a scarce mindset all the time. And I don't want my clients to feel that way either. It's always better to feel like you're in abundance, like I can have more, I can eat more. So what could we replace? Well, if we replace a fatty protein for a lean protein, if we requested for more vegetables, if we requested for more lean protein, not only will that make us fuller, it will make us feel like we can have more food. So requesting is such an integral part of my 3R method. It was instrumental to me looking the way I am without sacrificing my social life. And it was the same thing I taught Hani. To this day, he uses it. As you can see, he shared some of the stuff with his sister because he's using the 3R method. Okay, he's drinking Coke Zero, right? Replacing regular soda with 0-calorie soda, right? He shared the sweet potato fries that's reducing. This enabled him to eat out, but stay on track. How amazing is that? Okay, but not only that, I gave him my secret sauce, the eat out cheat sheet. And you guys might have heard about that, all right? My eat out cheat sheet is all about how can you eat out and still lose fat besides just using a 3-hour method. Story time for you. Hani literally called me when he was about to eat a buffet and he was like, what am I supposed to eat now? And I literally answered him, okay? And these are some of the foods that he had, well, not during the buffet, but when he goes out and eat, right? You can see he has hot plate beef, chicken rice. I'm not sure what kind of meal this is, but it's Malay cuisine, right? Grilled chicken. I believe this is four fingers, right? He even has Milo kosong, sardines, egg prata, right? And this was when he was already at 57 kilos. So you can still see that my eat out cheat sheet works perfectly. It doesn't matter where you eat. If you apply the 3-hour method, you follow the steps in the eat out cheat sheet, you will always lose fat and you don't have to sacrifice your social life. Okay, and that's the FARN method: fitness, accountability, recovery, and nutrition. But at this point, you might be saying to yourself, this will never work for me, right? Maybe you've heard things similar to this in the past, and you tell yourself, I can't do this. Only works for people with good genes and people who have the time or don't have kids or have more discipline than me. It will never work for me. And to which I'll answer, yes, if you keep those self-limiting beliefs, it will never work for you. You're right. But only if you keep those self-limiting beliefs. Now, what are self-limiting beliefs? Self-limiting beliefs are beliefs that you impose on yourself that cap you, that ensure you never reach your potential. And what are some of these beliefs? Number one, I don't have time. If you think you don't have time, just remember, Hani works 12-hour. All right, my phone died. So as I was saying, some of the self-limiting beliefs might be, you feel you don't have time. Well, if you think you don't have time, just remember, Hani got in shape working 12-hour days, morning, afternoon, and night shifts as a paramedic, doing physical labor, doing laborious stuff. If he could get in shape, why can't you? Why can't you? If you check your screen time on your phone, you're probably spending 7 or 8, maybe 9 hours on your phone every single day. Every single day, you have the time. He got in shape, working out 4 times a week, 45 minutes a session. You absolutely have the time to get in shape. You just haven't made it a priority. There's never a lack of time, only a lack of priority. Okay, you might say, my job is too hectic, too chaotic. Right? I've got to take calls and I have emails to write, I've got meetings, I've got to travel. Your job will never be as hectic as someone who has to respond to on-demand emergencies as a paramedic, who has to go about the country, be in an ambulance, carry people. Your job will never be more hectic than that. Hani has absolutely no control over how many people are going to need to be carried by him or be treated by him. But still, he was able to get in shape. Again, there's never a lack of time, there's only a lack of priority. If it is a priority for you, you will find a way to make it happen. You might think a self-limiting belief such as, I can't give up eating out with loved ones. You don't have to. Like I showed you over here, Hani didn't stop eating out with loved ones. He still ate out all the time. You don't have to give up your social life. You don't have to give up the other aspects of your life. Like if you have work dinners, clients to entertain, you can absolutely do it. Okay, last but not least, online coaching would work for me. Let me tell you this. I used to be a national powerlifter. I've competed for Singapore multiple times on the world stage. I've brought home numerous world medals, broken numerous national records. I deadlifted 277.5 kilos, bench almost 160, squatted 210. I'm not telling you this to toot my own horn. I'm telling you this because I've managed to achieve such incredible feats most people would never be able to do, and I never saw my coach in person. It was done online. I mean, just think about it. How would a 20 or 21-year-old version of myself be able to financially afford coaching. It's not happening. It was done online. And it is the same case for all the world-class powerlifters. Matter of fact, if you're trying to learn a new skill, whether it's golf or play basketball, if you want to swing a club better, swing a tennis racket, shoot a basketball better, you will always learn better if you film yourself and you review that footage afterwards. The best athletes on this earth do it, whether it's football players, soccer players, basketball players, they all review film. Because it's good to look at things retrospectively and see where you could improve, where you kind of went wrong, what you did right, and replicate it. But not only that, with online coaching, you actually get the tailored feedback from your coach himself so that you're no longer guessing. You actually know how you need to improve. You know how you can be better. And the best part about online coaching is you never have to rely on someone else's schedule, someone else's time. Because think about an in-person PT. Sure, they could give you instant feedback and move your shoulder in the right position and blah, blah, blah. But are you always going to pay for a PT's time every time you train? If that's the biggest reason that compels you to go to the gym, how sustainable is that? How long can you keep that going for? Realistically, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? When does it stop? If you say I'm going to stop then, why not just stop now and learn how to be self-sufficient, learn how to be independent? Isn't that the goal? Do you want to put the responsibility of your health and fitness outcomes on someone else's shoulders? Or do you want to take full control of how your health and fitness results will end up? If you can only get in shape because someone else has decided to meet you at a specific location at a specific time and you don't want to let him or her down, if that's the only reason you get in shape, tell me, are you going to keep the result, yes or no? And if you have muddled thoughts and you think maybe not, you know it's a no. And so online coaching compels you to learn how to be independent by taking short videos. It doesn't have to be a whole marathon video like this. It's short videos, get feedback. You learn, you be independent. You get tailored feedback every single session. It's like having mini YouTube tutorial videos for yourself specifically. Best part is, train anywhere you want, anytime you want, however long you want, with whoever you want, do whatever you want. Don't have to be reliant on someone else's schedule, time, right? And if you think about it a step further, I mean, if you train in the evenings after work, your PT is tired. I know because I used to do that. He probably woke up at 4 a.m., has been training clients since 5, and if your session with him is at 8 p.m., he just wants to go home. I promise you that. He's not really paying that much attention. Whatever energy he's providing, it's not really making that much of a difference. With online coaching, your coach reviews your footage early. He's up early, he's sharp, he's giving you very precise, tailored feedback. So you weigh it out. Does it work for you or not? Okay? At this point, you might be wondering, well, what if this is just a bunch of nonsense and I'm making up bullshit? Well, you can actually listen to it from the words of Hani himself. Okay, we filmed a client testimonial video. He spoke the words himself. He talked about his journey, the progress, right? How the process was like for him. So if you don't believe anything I say, go ahead and watch that video. I'll link it up above. And if you find that you want to still learn how to eat out and lose fat, if you don't have this resource by now, comment the word feast down below and I'll send you my free eat out cheat sheet. All right, that's pretty much it. If you like this video and you found it helpful, drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and send it to a friend who you think is skeptical about online coaching. And let me know if I should make more videos just like this. All right, take care and I'll see you in the next one.